Coming to you from our studios on Kairaba Avenue, this is QTV News and I am Andy Kema. Thanks for joining us. Here are the main news headlines. The Gambia has won the signature jollof competition at the West Africa Food Festival WAFEST held in Nigeria. According to a latest study conducted by the Medical Research Council Unit The Gambia, many children are vaccinated outside the recommended window despite high overall coverage. Construction of Gambia's first ever technical vocational training and educational university at Brikama is gathering space, and we went to have a look. At a training course for the broadcast media organized by Pura, the chairman of the Media Council of the Gambia, Babukar Cham, called on media practitioners to ensure professionalism in their work. On international news, at least 60 migrants are presumed dead after a boat disaster off the coast of Cape Verde in West Africa. Also in international news, today, 17th of August, marks 63 years since Gabon gained its independence from France. Those were the news headlines, now the news in detail. If you're just tuning in, this is QTV News and I am Andy Kema. West Africa's most contentious debate seems to have been settled for now. The Gambia has won their signature jollof competition at the West African Food Festival WAFEST held in Nigeria. QTV's Jaina Basonko engaged team coach Chef Sekou Bojang on Gambia's participation in this year's WAFEST.
The West African Food Festival is an annual rotational event, and this year's WAFEST brought together 11 West African countries plus 5 guest countries, including South Africa, Lesotho, amongst others, to compete in culinary classes. Team Gambia, led by award-winning chef Sekou Bojang, won the signature jollof competition, beating Ghana, Nigeria, Liberia, amongst other countries. Jollof rice is a West African dish, but prepared differently in almost every country along the West African coast. There has been always a debate as to which African country has the best jollof. It seems this year's WAFEST has answered that question, as Chef Bojang explains what made the Gambian jollof rice stand out to win the award.
It's not a competition for me. It's not a fight over anything, but I'm coming to settle the dispute amongst you all, and that's what I've just done. Based on the judges' recommendations or feedback, is the texture, the flavors and the aroma, and of course the color contrast that we have in our jollof. That was distinctive. You can actually pick those flavors bursting as you eat that they couldn't find in other jollofs.
Participating in such competitions can be very challenging as it requires a lot of money. This year, the Ministry of Tourism and Culture facilitated the Gambia's participation at the WAFEST.
This year became easier than last year. I think we're improving day by day or year to year. So this year, initially we were really nervous that we may not represent the country, but we are so happy that the minister came and literally saved us in this and then just said, you know what, we're going to give you 6 tickets to fly and represent the country. So that was great. Although maybe he was keeping it as a surprise, so he waited till we nearly just to the dying moment. He just said, chefs, we have your 6 tickets for you.
Gambia's Chef Bojang has been re-elected president of the West African Chefs Association and also re-elected director of the African Chefs Alliance. Chef Bojang has bagged several awards, including the Master Chef in Redden in UK, the Hikers competition in Germany, Olympics in South Africa. Chef Bojang was at one time a cook for the royal family in the United Kingdom and excitedly informed us that Queen Elizabeth loved Yassa. The highly accomplished chef now serves as a role model for chefs and aspiring chefs.
So the message I have for the young chefs, you the young chefs, and those that believe in yourself, is I have a word that I created myself, which is spelled as this way, D-A-P. So the DAP stands for discipline. So you have to be disciplined in wherever you are, in whatever you do. So if discipline is taking charge and control of who you are, then of course you have a great positive outcome out of it. Then from that you have the A, which is the right attitude towards whatever you do. If your attitude is now directly great enough in the execution of whatever you're doing as a chef, you'll achieve a great thing. Now the P there is the passion.
The West Africa Food Festival will be held in the Gambia in 2024, where 200 chefs are expected to participate. This is a chance to expose the Smiling Coast and our various cultures and cuisines to other West Africans and guest countries from other parts of Africa. Reporting for QTV News, I am Jennifer Sonko.
As the Jollof debate settles, we proudly hold the crown, a true taste of Gambia's excellence. Congratulations to Chef Sekou Bojang and the entire team. Away from the competition, despite high overall coverage, many children are vaccinated outside the recommended window, according to a latest study conducted by the Medical Research Council Unit, the Gambia, at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. Aliu Cesar reports.
The study, which was conducted over the last few years and has just completed, is funded under the European and Developing Countries Clinical Trial Partnership Program. In a bid to disseminate the outcome of this study, this workshop held on Thursday is organized to share with stakeholders the results of the study that evaluated the timeliness of childhood vaccination in the Gambia. Sidat Fofana, manager of the expanded program on immunization (EPI) at the Ministry of Health, and Professor Bate Kampman, senior investigator, vaccines and immunity theme at MRC the Gambia, emphasized the need for data collection, which is important in guiding decision-making to help close the existing gaps in immunization.
A study like this is very important to us as immunization providers so that we look at them. And in our bid to address some of these issues, we can use some of these results to make sure that we are able to go back to our pre-COVID days.
And this work would not have been possible without the assistance of the people in the room here and also our collaborators at the University of Southampton and the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. It is work and output that relates to the timeliness of vaccinations, and it shows that even in the most accomplished systems like we have here in the Gambia, thanks to all your hard work, there are still some children who are not catered for equally, and that there are some gaps in coverage.
To better understand the situation, detailed maps were created showing the districts and wards in the Gambia where the issue is most severe. The study also explored how the COVID-19 pandemic affected the pattern of too early or delayed routine childhood vaccination in the Gambia. In 2021 alone, 18.2 million children globally did not receive the first dose of DTP-containing vaccine, and an additional 6.8 million children were under-vaccinated. Dr. Ogene Burum Wariri of MRC Unit, the Gambia, said vaccination prevents about 4 to 5 million deaths yearly and is also the most cost-effective intervention to control infectious disease. Dr. Uduak Okomo, also of the MRC Unit, the Gambia, highlighted effective communication as one of the key challenges to vaccine timeliness.
Usually, the gold standard measurement is we try to look at coverage. Okay, coverage of this particular vaccine is above 95 or 90%. That is what is used, right? But we also know that coverage doesn't consider the time which people take their vaccine. So for example, when surveys are done, they look at children between 12 to 23 months in the last 1 year. All we want to know is, I'm asking you, did you take your vaccine? Yes, no. That's what we ask. Whether the child took the vaccine 3 months after when he's supposed to take it, or took it 1 month earlier or 2 months earlier, we don't ask that question.
So why don't we make the message out there? The more you hear a message, the more you're likely to remember it. And so we have radio. Most people tune into radio. So if we have campaigns, so in addition to, yes, we have the vaccine campaigns that we're going out, but if we think about other ways about delivering the message, so people constantly hear it and reminded.
In May 1967, Gambia was the first country in the world to interrupt measles transmission. The Gambia's EPI is also considered highly successful and a model for other countries. According to experts, delayed vaccination prolongs exposure to life-threatening infectious disease. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliu Cesar.
Construction of Gambia's first ever technical vocational training and education university at Brikama is gathering space. Work for the complex is reportedly nearly half completed. The project is a major breakthrough for the Gambia's higher education sector, which is undergoing a transformation to address the unemployment and skills gap in the Gambia's labor market. Momodu Lamin Choi reports.
This is the construction site for the University of Applied Science, Engineering and Technology, USET, the new name of the Gambia Technical Training Institute, which has been transformed to a university offering degree programs in TVET subjects. Funded by the World Bank, a project to construct a campus for USET is ongoing. The project contractor is Krubali Construction Company, and Cherno Krubali is its managing director.
You can see we have finished the ground level, and we are on our first floors on all the buildings. Formwork has been done. We are planning to slab on all these 4 blocks. This is a 12-month contract. It started in January 2023. We're hoping the completion period should be December 2023. And so far, we have provided all the material that's required to complete these projects.
President Adama Barrow laid the foundation stone for this project a year ago. With funding from the World Bank, this project will gradually introduce more faculties such as chemical engineering, architecture and design, and computer sciences in accordance with the Gambia's higher education master plan. When completed, students can take degree programs in various TVET fields, including electrical, mechanical, and civil engineering.
Yeah, this is a University of Science, Engineering and Technology, as you are aware, is comprising 4 blocks. And these 4 blocks is the electrical engineering, the mechanicals, and also you have the workshops and labs, and you have the office building that is behind me.
The project contractors, Krubali Construction Company, a Gambian-owned company, takes pride in being given the opportunity to construct Gambia's first ever TVET university. The managing director of the company promises that his team is working towards delivering on time and with quality.
Yeah, first of all, I will thank the Almighty Allah, and I will thank His Excellency, the President of the Republic, Mr. Adama Barrow. This is one of the biggest projects that is given to Gambians. We have seen so many projects that were being given to foreign contractors. But when His Excellency came in, he said we need to uplift our Gambian contractors because we have to give them the opportunity and test them. This is a test. The company is a registered company and is owned by Gambians. All our engineers are all Gambians. All the workers here are all Gambian. Everything is Gambian. So we are all working together to see that we deliver to the expectations of the Gambian people.
For a long time, TVET training and education institutions were concentrated in the Greater Banjul area. A policy to decentralize access to TVET education is being implemented by the Gambia government. The government is constructing TVET centers in every region to ease access. This is significant for promoting employability and addressing the skills gap in the Gambia's labor market. At a time when 45% of Gambian youth are neither going through education or training, TVET is seen as a sustainable option for solving a situation which has reached crisis point. Momodu Lamin Choi, QTV News.
With that story by Momodu Lamin Choi, we'll now go for a commercial break. But when we return, we have international news stories. Stay tuned.
For his kitchen, Prosper was thinking big. He therefore chose big new tiles. He then thought he'd also love a new stainless steel sink and a new mixer rack. And now that we're changing the sink, we might as well buy a new kitchen counter, right?
Oh yeah, I couldn't resist.
Good old Prosper.
Yes, that's Batimat's Bati Days. Take advantage of exceptional discounts up to 70% on several products families. From June 11th to 25th, you will be splurging. Batimat, everything for construction from foundation to finishing.
Introducing the future of hassle-free and seamless financial transaction. The Una Wallet app, empowering you to effortlessly manage your money anytime, anywhere. With the Una Wallet app, you can now enjoy branchless banking, wallet-to-wallet transfer, wallet-to-cash, and bank cross-border payments, deposit at a bank, and withdraw from any Una branch. Get ready to experience the ultimate banking convenience with the Una Wallet app. With just few taps on your phone, you can effortlessly add funds, withdraw, and send money to your loved ones. The Una Wallet app also provides a detailed history of your transaction, making it easier to track your expenses. So, what are you waiting for? Download the Una Wallet app today on Play Store or App Store and say goodbye to hassle of traditional banking. Uno Forex Bureau Limited, delivering much more than money.
Welcome back. You're watching QTV News. At a day-long training for broadcast media stakeholders organized by PURA, the chairman of the Media Council of the Gambia, Baboucarr Cham, called on media practitioners to ensure quality journalism by upholding professionalism and media ethics in their work. More in this report by Ansumana Eso Nyasi.
This dialogue seeks to encourage adherence to ethical and professional journalism, held under the theme Dialogue and Training of Broadcast Media for improved compliance with the regulatory framework. The training provided a platform for discussion on challenges and regulatory concerns affecting quality journalism in the Gambia. Chairman of the Gambia Media Council, Baboucarr Cham, stressed the need for broadcasters to always adhere to professional ethics and implored them to familiarize themselves with frameworks such as the GPU Code of Ethics and the Chorna Jallow Charter, adding that this is important for improved performance and efficiency.
But ultimately, all nations have a common denominator, which is that truth, accuracy, and objectivity undoubtedly remains the cornerstones of journalism ethics. For as the saying goes, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can drive out darkness. In going by that crucial statement, the broadcast media stand to pay due regards to its listeners, viewers, and readers, and behave towards them fairly with ethics and deontology.
Lamin Queen Jame, the Minister for Information, also emphasized the importance of this training, especially in promoting fundamental human rights and strengthening democracy, and went on to cite the enactment of the Access to Information Bill as a clear manifestation of government's commitment to supporting the media through the institution of media-friendly legislation.
I would hasten to renew your confidence that under the leadership of President Adama Barrow, the media landscape of the Gambia shall continue to be free to the spirit of the letters of all those regulations that have provided for them. It is the understanding of this administration that information is the lifeblood of any democratic society.
Yusufa Job, PURA Director General, and Emma Mendy, Director of Legal Licensing and Enforcement at PURA, acknowledged the role of the media, describing them as worthy partners in national development, and went on to give assurances of their support and willingness to partner with the media.
Therefore, we have, as we said, need to be inclusive and participatory in everything we do. And the motive is mainly to encourage voluntary compliance, which makes it easier for everyone. As journalists, you bear a tremendous responsibility in shaping public perception, disseminating information, and contributing to the democratic discourse. Your role surpasses reporting alone. It is also to ensure that it is accurate, unbiased, and contextually rich. And this will enable us and empower the public to make informed decisions, which will guide the country as a whole.
As a regulator, I have come to realize that media regulations requires much more than setting best laws and policies, but overcoming the challenges of what comes with regulations in the context of Africa and young democracies all over the world, while upholding regulatory confidence in our processes.
The event also featured presentations on the role of the media in promoting adherence to ethics, professionalism, challenges, and regulatory frameworks, amongst others. Ansumana Esonyasi for KTV News.
With a report by Ansumana Esonyasi, we will now shift our attention to news outside the Gambia. On international news, at least 60 migrants are presumed dead after a boat disaster off Cape Verde in West Africa, according to the International Organization for Migration, IOM. Momodu Gajaga reports.
After the boat disaster, 38 people, including children, were rescued, with footage showing them being helped ashore, some on stretchers, on the islands of Sal in Cape Verde. Almost all those on board the boat, which was at sea for over a month, are thought to have been from Senegal. Cape Verde officials have called for global action on migration to help prevent further loss of life. The boat was first stopped on Monday, police told AFP news agency. Initial reports suggested the boat had sunk, and it was later clarified that it had been found drifting. The wooden boat was seen almost 320 kilometers off Sal, one of 9 islands that make up Cape Verde, by a Spanish fishing boat, which then alerted authorities. The survivors include 4 children, aged between 12 and 16, according to IOM. The boat left the Senegalese fishing village of Fass-Boye on the 10th of July with 101 people on board, Senegal's foreign ministry said on Tuesday, citing survivors. Moda Samb, an elected official in the village, told AFP news agency nearly all those on the boat had grown up in the community and that some local families were still awaiting to hear whether their relatives are among the survivors. Senegal's foreign ministry said it was liaising with authorities in Cape Verde to arrange the repatriation of Senegalese nationals. The passengers from other countries reportedly include Sierra Leone and Guinea-Bissau. Jose Morera, a health official on Sal, said the survivors were improving and were being looked after, with a focus on radiation and tests for conditions like malaria. Cape Verde Health Minister Filomena Gonçalves said migration issues are global issues, which require international cooperation and global strategy. Exact figures of irregular migration are hard to come by, but between 2020 and 2023, at least 67,000 people arrived in the Canary Islands alone. Over that same period, just over 2,500 lost their lives. The IOM pointed that figure covers only the deaths that have been registered. Given the irregular and secretive nature of the route, the true figure could be far higher. Other ports in Europe, including Lampedusa in Italy, recorded large numbers of irregular migrants arriving by sea. Since the beginning of the year, over 70,000 migrants have arrived in Italy by sea, significantly more than in the same period in previous years. Around 90 migrants from Senegal, Gambia, Guinea-Bissau and Sierra Leone were rescued in Cape Verdean waters in mid-January. At the end of July, the Senegalese government presented a national strategy to combat irregular migration, focusing on prevention, border control, and the return and reintegration of migrants. However, the problem continues. Mamadou Gajaga, QTV News.
What a tragedy. Our heartfelt condolences to the families of the victims. Today, the 17th of August, marks 63 years since Gabon gained its independence from the French. Julien Jai looked at how the country had been faring since gaining independence in 1960.
This day marks the establishment of an independent country when, after more than a century of colonization, Gabon claimed its liberation from France. On this day, locals hold festivities, concerts, parades and firework displays as a reminder of this freedom. The French colonizers arrived in Gabon during the slave trade, which ultimately became the catalyst for their century-long rule in Gabon. Gabon officially became a French colony in 1885 and finally one of the 4 colonies in French Equatorial Africa in 1910. In 1958, Gabon became an autonomous republic of France. Finally, on August 17, 1960, after a series of multi-cooperation agreements, Gabon was granted complete independence and sovereignty. The current population of Gabon is 2.3 million people, and it has the largest urbanization rates in Africa, with more than 4 in 5 Gabonese citizens live in cities. Gabon is the 4th largest oil producer in the sub-Saharan Africa, and in 2020, the oil sector accounted for about 38.5% of the country's GDP and 70.5% of exports, despite efforts to diversify the economy. Like many countries around the world, the COVID-19 pandemic and the Russia-Ukraine war greatly affected Gabon's economy. This resulted in rising unemployment and a sharp drop in domestic revenue mobilization, followed by a decline in exports and foreign direct investment, leading to a significant fiscal deficit. However, the Central African country has taken steps to fight the high cost of living and unemployment. As a result, the economy is gradually recovering, supported by a good performance in the oil, mining and wood sectors. In an effort to reduce emissions and preserve its vast rainforests, Gabon is a net carbon observer and a lender in net zero emission initiatives. It has a rich ecosystem with extensive endowments of fertile land, coastal resources and fisheries. However, despite its economic potential, the country is struggling to translate its resource wealth into sustainable and inclusive growth. In its 67 years of independence, the country has only 3 presidents, namely Lion Ba, who was president for 7 years, from independence in 1960 to 1967, when he was succeeded by Omar Bongo Ondimba, who was president for 42 years, from 1967 until his demise in 2009. Omar Bongo was succeeded by his son Ali Bongo Ondimba, who remains president today. For QTV News, I am Julde Njai.
Well, a very happy Independence Day to all Gabonese all over the world. And with that story, we've come to the end of this edition of QTV News. Join us at 10 p.m. for another news bulletin. Thanks for watching.